Carroll County has some great soil, so the grapes grow really well. As far as the latitude, we're very close to, similar to Bordeaux. So our style of winemaking is more similar to a Bordeaux style, so not the high alcohol wines like you find in a California Cabernet, but our wines are typically a little bit less alcoholic, but that gives you more of the fruit character. So we do have nice tannins. We have a little bit higher pH than say California or Bordeaux. So it does give a little more tartness to the wine, which softens as it ages. You know, there's a lot of vineyards in Carroll County, so we're able to source additional grapes from other growers within the county. So we're trying to keep what we do, you know, as local as possible. So we always look to the county first for anything we're purchasing or looking for, and then if we have to, we'll extend out towards the statewide and keep it as local as possible. We specialize in dry wines, so we do dry varietal specific wines. As you can see, we're pretty small, so we stick to just a few wines. So right now we have 5 wines, and then occasionally we'll have a 6th wine as a special offering. A lot of people ask that question as to how we got our name, and when we first started, we had to clear the land, and there was a hedgerow that was going up through kind of where the middle of the vineyard is now, and my husband was out there moving that hedgerow so we could plant the vines, and there was a pile of old slate left by the previous owner, so he was using the bobcat to move it. And it was fall time, so it was pretty warm in those rocks, and when he went to move the rocks, a bunch of snakes came slithering out and kind of startled him, and he came running in the house, and he's like, oh my gosh, there was 100 snakes out there. And he's like, no, I'm just kidding, it was just a few, but kind of always stuck in his mind, in my mind, as that was the way, you know, we really started. That was one of our first days ever preparing the vineyard. And so we got to the point we had to pick a name. You know, we kept thinking of, you know, what the area is known for. Did we want to use our name? And we came up with Serpent Ridge Vineyard, and it seems to really fit. And, you know, we haven't had too many people scared off because of snakes. But we do live in the country, and no more snakes than anyone else has in their yard. But kind of is a cool name, and it made for a cool label with our wine, so it's been a great choice. So as far as community, we try and support the community when we can. So there's a lot of charity events that we'll participate in, either by, you know, donating some tastings, or we'll go and pour wine. We've also partnered with some of the local restaurants to do a charity wine dinner. So we'll have a chef come in here, do a wine dinner with our wines, obviously, and you know, they'll raffle that off or auction it off at one of the charity events. So we try and stay a part of the community because we live here as well, so we want the community to do well. We get visitors from all over. We have a lot of people that come in that are our neighbors that live very close, and they love bringing in guests and friends that come from other parts of the state. We're close to, you know, DC and Pennsylvania, so we get a lot of visitors from those areas as well. The nice thing about being in Carroll County is we have a lot of county support. So some of the local restaurants will recommend to people that are visiting to come out and see us. Some of the hotels will do the same, and we reciprocate by sending them to some of our local businesses. We have 3 other wineries right now in the county, and so it's great because we have a Carroll County wine trail, so people can, you know, visit the entire trail and spend the day in Carroll County, which is wonderful for our tourism growth in this county. So we feel like the more wineries there are, you know, the better off we'll be because we'll have more visitors coming out to the county. So we think we're in a great spot, and it's been really helpful. We have either music outside during the summer, or in the wintertime we do indoor events, so like soups and wine or wine and cheese pairing. We just started doing wine glass painting classes. So we have a local artist, Melinda Bird, who comes in and teaches instruction on how to paint a wine glass, and that's been very popular. One thing we do a little different is we do have a different closure. We don't use corks or screw caps. It's an Australian closure called a Zork, and we also named our cat after it since we love the closure so much. The nice thing with this closure, it is 100% recyclable, and you don't need a corkscrew. So this is the Zork closure, and it's very easy to open. You don't need a corkscrew. You just take this little tab and you peel it off. And luckily for us, it does look like a little snake. And then you just take the top and you get the pop of a cork, and you can reseal the bottle. It won't leak out. And then you can save this top for your other wines, and it has our website on there, so when you're forgetting where you got it from, it has our website and you can go check us out online. Instead of using oak barrels, we use a different technology. It's another Australian technology called flex tanks. And these are poly tanks that are designed to breathe like a 2-year-old oak barrel. So what we do is we put the wine into the tanks and then we add oak to the wine. So we will put different planks and we can mix. It gives my husband, the winemaker, the ability to really choose what kind of oak flavor he wants in the wine. So he can put, you know, some American, some French, some Hungarian, and we put it into a mesh bag, and that bag gets put into the wine. So the nice thing is it gives us that chance to pull it out when we think there's enough oak flavor in the wine. And we're not using a valuable resource by cutting down, you know, as many trees. We've been part of the Maryland Grape Growers Association for many years, and we've talked to a lot of the different wineries as to, you know, what varieties do the best here. There's a lot of resources in the state from University of Maryland to help determine what you should plant. And our first vineyard was several different varieties, and then we decided the Cabernet Franc did the best. And in this general vicinity, Cab Franc does really well, where, for example, on the Eastern Shore, they do really well with the whites and Merlots. So you'll see a lot more Cab Franc more in Western Maryland. There's been a real change in the wineries over the past few years, and everyone's really trying to elevate the quality of Maryland wine. A lot of people always thought Maryland wine is very sweet, and that's kind of changing. There's a lot of great sweet wines out there, but we're trying to focus on more, like I said, the varietal specific wines. I mean, we had an early spring, as I'm sure a lot of people who grow plants and things saw. So bud break was a little bit early, which was fine, but we were a little more nervous about a possible late freeze, which thankfully didn't happen. But with all the heat we had this year and we didn't have a lot of rain, that's great for us. We really don't want a lot of rain because it can dilute the sugar levels. Last year in 2011, we got about 20 inches of rain because we had that hurricane, and so our sugar levels were a little lower than normal, and the flavor gets a little more diluted in the color. We're trying to really focus on the quality of the wine and make sure the grapes are ripe when we pick them. If you have underripe grapes, you can get some off flavors, such as green pepper, so we don't really want that kind of character in the wine, so we're very diligent to make sure that we're not harvesting until the grapes are 100% ripe. Another area that can really hurt your wine is, you know, allowing oxygen to touch the wine. It can oxidize, so we do a lot of preventative measures with using argon to protect the wine from any, you know, oxygen contact. So really trying to make a very good, high quality wine, and, you know, we've been really successful, like I said, since we've won some international awards, you know, going against some of the big name wineries, and we've won international gold, which is really exciting to say. So we're trying to, you know, grow the industry, help other wineries as they come on board. We've had plenty of people intern with us that are now opening wineries. So really trying to help the local community and help the industry and keep the quality at the highest possible level.